Welcome back to Aesthetics Unscripted. I'm your host, Kim Laudati, your regenerative aesthetic specialist. And with us today is Will Love.
So I worked in radio for 8 years in Top 40 Radio. My DJ name was Will Love, but my real name is Will Lo Schiavo. But obviously, Lo Schiavo doesn't sound that commercial.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And we're going to break down what you're doing, a full day of beauty at IT Intelligent Treatment, talk about your SomaCell experience.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes, absolutely. But can you share your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my career working in radio. I worked in Top 40 Radio for a good 8 to 9 years. And then the pandemic came, and during the pandemic, half the staff at the broadcasting company I worked for were furloughed. So I was like, what am I going to do? This is the only thing I know. So I started a podcast, and me and another DJ started working on it. And I've been doing the podcast 5 years now. And in addition to that, the podcast is Will Love Listen. Because when I worked in radio, my name was Will Love. So I'm like, let's just tack on listen and have it to be like a play on Live, Laugh, Love. And in addition to that, I write for Out in Jersey magazine. It's the only gay publication in New Jersey, but it's distributed in 5 states, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Delaware, Pennsylvania. And I'm their entertainment editor, so I'm always doing things in the entertainment space as well as the beauty space, hence how I came across Kim and SomaCell, because when they were doing the SomaCell launch in the first quarter of 2025, I got an invite by Page Six to check out their Page Six event. I couldn't attend, but I'm like, you know what, this is good for a future story. So I reached out to Kim a couple months ago, and yeah, that's when she was like, let's make it happen. So here we are.
So SomaCell, love at first sight?
Yeah, it really was. I'm always doing different cosmetic treatments and trying different things out. So I've learned to equate pain with beauty. And when I heard that this was a painless treatment, I was like, okay, is this bullshit? Is this snake oil? But then I started, going through it. I did the full series of 6, and I've noticed more of an effect than I did doing painful treatments like various forms of ARF microneedling, opus plasma, and various other things that I've tried that were very painful, where my face would be red for a week, peeling for a week. So in terms of what I've done cosmetically, not talking plastic surgery, I did 2 different forms of ARF microneedling. I did a series of the opus plasma laser and various forms of different tightening facials as well.
You've done things like laser resurfacing also in the past, correct? Like fractionated laser, things like that?
Yeah. So, and everything that I just mentioned comes with pain, comes with downtime, comes with your face being noticeably red and or peeling. So people notice you have something done. So this is the only thing that I've done that serves the same purpose, which is tightening, contouring, etc., without any downtime.
Right. So you get to lift and tighten without having the pain. And like you said, you don't have to walk around with a freaky face. So you made me laugh when you said, was it really pain-free? Is this just blowing smoke? Because that's a general question. We're used to getting beauty treatments or longevity anti-aging treatments where they'll tell you, it's pain-free.
Then,
right? And then you get there and they're like, well, it's not exactly pain-free. And you're like, oh my God, it's not pain-free.
Well,
right?
Everything that I just mentioned, they were like, oh, we just put the numbing cream on for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you'll feel nothing. Well, I did the numbing cream every single time. And for every treatment in those series of treatments that I did, it was painful. I was sweating. It was like, oof. But, I went through with it, obviously. But for the pain and the downtime and everything that you need to sort of dance around that comes along with these treatments, sometimes the results don't match, the pain and the whole protocol. Whereas it's the opposite with SomaCell. There's no preparation. There's no things that you need to be cautious of after the fact. but yet like I've noticed contouring.
So, Will, after you had contacted me, remembering SomaCell launch, etc., what was the reason why you were excited about finding out if SomaCell was snake oil or not? Do you have a story you could share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was always self-conscious growing up of like my nose, because my nose had a hump on it, and my lower face because I had chubby cheeks. So in 2022, after I went through a bad breakup, I got plastic surgery. So I got buccal fat removal, and I got rhinoplasty and revision rhinoplasty because it didn't come out right the first time. So after having done all of that, which was very painful and required an extensive recovery for all three plastic surgery treatments, I do a lot of social media work, and I get spots and different people reaching out wanting to partner on stuff. And so this one med spa that I was doing some stuff with at the time wanted to do like facial balancing. And I'm like, I was all excited because I'm like, yes, this will be the cherry on top after having gotten buccal fat removal and 2 nose jobs. And they did filler here, jawline, chin, and some in the cheek area as well. So it was all over. And obviously lips, but lips are no big deal. But it was the facial balancing portion, which is everything except the lips, that looked great for the first 2 weeks. And then I felt like it started to become a little bit of pillow face. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to destroy the plastic surgery procedures that I got done. And all like the work I put into it, it's like, gotta like be not noticeable now because of the whole filler stuff.
Right. You must have been really freaked out. Did you contact the med spa?
Yeah, and because of the podcast that I do, like I'm constantly doing all these Zoom interviews. So I see my face all the time. So that's the filler looked great for the first month, and then it just started to kind of look like pillow face. And I'm like, what the hell? And I got nervous because I felt like it was a double-edged sword, because the jawline filler, I felt like it made my jawline look a bit sharp, but then it made my lower face start to look a little bit chunky. And I'm like, that's why I got buccal fat removal. So, and I didn't want to dissolve the filler, because what many people don't know is when you do hyaluronidase or any form of like filler dissolver, is you also dissolve your body's own hyaluronic acid. And in lieu of that, you also could get side effects like sunken in areas where it looks like little craters in your face. And like Terry DeBrose talked about it. Some plastic surgeons that I know that are really high up there are not a fan of hyaluronidase. So I'm like, I'm just going to let the filler dissolve naturally, but I also want to find out a way to sculpt it. And then that's when I remembered the page 6 invitation to SomaCell. I'm like, let me reach out to Kim and find out more information. And from what I learned from you, I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is the only thing that could contour your filler, basically. So I started doing SomaCell, and I'm like, we're just going to contour whatever filler is remaining and tightening my whole face. And I've been so impressed with the results. I've only done 6 treatments, now 7, because I'm here for my 1-month follow-up. And I felt like it's really tightened the jawline, the chin area. It's tightened and contoured my lower face, which complemented the buccal fat removal that I had done. And it tightened, I don't know if I want to say slimmed out my face, but I feel like it...
Contouring is more specific. Puts the shape back in because your cheeks are not as flattened out as before, so you have more plump to the apple of your cheek. What was already cut in, looking very snatched before you had the misplaced filler and the issues with the filler, that all returned. And you have naturally beautiful arches to your brow, but I feel like we had a good shot at popping them, and we did.
Yeah, and the brows popped too. So this has been like the holy grail for my current dilemma that I was experiencing last year. And I just want to say, everyone out there, say if you got filler and you don't like the way it looks, so you think, okay, let's just add on to that in specific areas. Don't even do that. Just go to SomaCell. It'll contour what you already have. You're going to partially metabolize the filler anyway, although it doesn't entirely metabolize, as I've learned. But you could contour it. You could work with it instead of overstuffing your face.
Right, exactly. So you can lift and tighten naturally because we're working on connective tissue, which is, that is your foundational layers, and that radiates, that goodness radiates up through your skin layers. So that's how you get the visual lifting and tightening to your skin. And like you said, the skin contours, but that's all working deep within your skin. So it works inside out. And as you mentioned, no downtime because it's not heat. We're not frying your face. We're not using RF microneedling. It's not another laser. It's not ultrasound. It's not plasma. None of these things are treatments that don't create downtime. So they're all heat activated treatments. They create downtime. And like you said before, depending on how deeply you're receiving these treatments is going to correlate directly with how much pain management and downtime you have to deal with. And you being in the media and representative of the clinics that you're going to, of course, we're going to blast you because we want you to get the deepest treatment, the strongest treatment, so you could be the happiest, see the best results, and then report on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, clearly, given all the things that I've done, I don't mind going big because that's my motto, go big or go home. So I'm like, blast it, do it to the top notch. I could handle it. And another thing, speaking of heat-based treatments, is the FDA recently came out with a warning against all these heat-based treatments because of the fact that they melt your own fat. And so you might be doing it to tighten, but it could simultaneously tighten some areas, but then make you look older in other areas because you're melting your own fat.
Absolutely. That reminds me, there's a brand new Korean, and I'm half Korean, so I'm not trying to be down on that side of my genetics, but there's a brand new Korean radio frequency device out there that has me completely horrified. And if I find out you ever try this, I'm going to be sneaking up to your house with, I don't know, I'm going to beat you over the head with a baseball bat.
Is it a 4-letter word?
Because...
Is the new treatment that it's getting old?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's because they're blitzing the market with this huge marketing campaign where they're spending millions of dollars to put this in front of everyone. The thing that horrifies me, and yes, it's a 4-letter word, the thing that horrifies me about this new radio frequency is that radio frequency parameters have not changed. While they have evolved and the devices have evolved to be technically more safer and deliver that radio frequency in a more specific manner to target the coagulation inside of your skin, the target temperature in your face to treat for tightening without massive damage is 101 degrees. Going above 101 degrees, such as 110 degrees minimum as a target for your body fat and for body contouring, that's fine. But for your face, you're never, ever supposed to go over 101 degrees. Every top radio frequency in the world teaches you that. And they usually have fail-safes and gauges and monitors built within the equipment to keep you at that 101 degree target and then give you a warning to move on to the next section. This one is bragging about triple to quadruple that energy, that heat into your face.
And to avoid confusion, this new form of radio frequency tightening, it's not microneedling, it's a new form of radio frequency tightening. 4-letter word, can't say it, but they are marketing themselves as it being painless. So I don't want to confuse them with SomaCell because they're completely different. Because although this new form of radio frequency tightening may be painless, it still comes with the same risks, as you mentioned, as regular RF microneedling and things that fall within that heat-based category.
Exactly. And the whole tea with this is that, you go from 101 degree target in your face, now you're triple and quadruple that. You're going up to 400 and something degrees. You're permanently destroying volume in your face, and pain is associated with that because a very famous plastic surgeon on the Upper East Side, their practice manager happens to come to us for her skincare. And she went to South Korea last month and received this treatment. And let me tell you something. She was like, it's no joke. They pain manage. It hurts. Of course it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Because what happens with microneedling is the microwave, this radio wave goes into your skin and literally microwaves inside your skin. It heats the tissue from inside out. It's literally microwaving your face.
Yeah.
Now take that process, which has always been safe when done properly, and it takes a series like anything to work with getting you the visual tightening effect. Take that and quadruple that energy and put 400 and something degrees in your face. Of course it's going to be painful. And what are you going to look like a few years later? Regardless of the age that you receive it
exactly.
at, a few years later, after you damage all those tissues, everything is not only going to be able to sag because you're destroying the elastin, but you're also cooking the bejesus out of your collagen, so everything's also sinking in. You're just going to look so much older, so much faster.
Yeah, and no one wants to look old. And the reason so many celebrities do tend to plateau early on when they start doing these treatments is because they tend to do these heat-based microwave face procedures and then top it off with filler. So you're melting your own fat and then you're adding artificial plumping. And if you keep doing that repeatedly every year, it's not a good look.
Exactly, because you don't have a foundation.
Yeah.
It's like literally having a soft bucket, right? And then trying to continue to fill it up with heavy objects like bricks. So if it's a soft-sided plastic bucket that just keeps buckling and you keep putting filler inside of it, there's no foundation to hold it up. So this is just a vicious cycle, like you said, of constantly chasing this more youthful-looking face when you have nothing to hold things up with.
Yeah.
You have nothing to hold out.
Because you're destroying your own foundation.
Exactly.
And as you're destroying your own foundation with all these different heat-based technologies, you're adding artificial foundation, hence filler on top of it. So it's just bound to collapse and not look good. And this is no disrespect to any of the people mentioned, but look at all these celebrities. First of all, what I'm talking about is a lot of the housewives, and even look at Jeff Bezos' wife.
Right.
One of the richest people on earth, or one of the richest couples on earth, and yet you could still go from looking great to looking like
alien. The moniker is starting to become like you're turning Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
You're getting Joan Rivers. Meaning, and she always made fun of herself for this. She was very open and honest about the fact that she was addicted to plastic surgery and fillers and all these things, and she herself said, I don't know when to stop. I love doing it. And she literally did not look very human in the end, God bless her. So this is a phenomenon and a syndrome that doesn't just happen to celebrities, but it happens to a lot of people out on the street that can afford to chase the dream of trying to look more youthful, but going about it all the wrong way. So, I think one of the biggest things that we both love about SomaCell is that it is synergistic with the other things that you've tried and the other things that you might want to try. So we're not saying don't do heat-based treatments. We're not saying don't do
just
surgery.
Be cautious because you really can't turn some of these things around.
Exactly. So you want to blend properly and be guided properly and still look like you. So yes, you want to look like a younger, fresher, snatched, fabulous, right? We all want to look fabulous, but we want to look fabulous you. We don't want you to look like a fabulous mask. We don't want you to look Halloween, right?
The goal should always be you could lie about your age and have it be believable. And SomaCell helps that because you're working with existing foundation. You're not, like I mentioned, melting it and then adding artificial on top of it.
Right.
So, and that should be everyone's goal. But I think people get addicted and then they try to correct their problems by doing the same thing but in a different way.
Exactly. And then it's a lot of quite often it's med spa hopping, it's injector hopping, it's surgery hopping, and you're getting conflicting information. So I always say you should find the ones that you can trust and stick with them. And even if it's a response you don't want to hear, right? Because if you're like, hey, Kim, I want to try this. And I'm like, Will, no. But I don't just tell you no, right? I tell you no and I tell you why. And I explain the why. And then I give you the opportunity to make an educated decision from there. So it becomes a process.
I've been told know
relationship.
before.
Right.
Cosmetically, I wanted to get a third nose job because I have a scar here from the second one, and he's just like, that's too much. Just like it could, like you try to rectify something so tiny, and then you could end up with a larger problem.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then your first response is, no, I'm gonna get what I want, or at least with me, no, I'm gonna get what I want. And then I need to process it for a little bit and be like, maybe that's actually the better scenario.
Right,
Not
absolutely.
to keep on going.
Absolutely. There's things that we've retailed in the past at my clinic, IT Intelligent Treatment, for example, that were home care devices. But I actually phased that out because I had a lot of loyal patients that I'd known for many years that they would purchase these devices, and by their own admittance, they were excited. They would use them religiously, a couple times a week or whatever the instructions were, for about 2 months. And then they would sit years later in a drawer.
Yeah.
And never to be touched again. And they had a drawer full of devices that they had purchased over the years from me, from my clinic, and from other, from everywhere else. So I was like, nope, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. We're going to get into a 10-step withdrawal program for anti-aging. No means no. You cannot have this device. So I would sell it to patients that I know that would use it, but I would literally be like, no. Or we have brand new patients that come in that are like, I loved all the products you used in the clinic. I want all of them. And, you can see it's like a 12-step process, start to finish, and not everyone needs that. And when you change out all of your products at the same time, it's a one-way ticket to having your skin freaking out. So
because when you start to react, not to interrupt you, but when you start to react, you don't really know what you're reacting to.
Yes.
Is it the cleanser? Is it the serum, the moisturizer, the eye cream?
You don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the perfect advice and exactly what I was going to say, because you can't switch out everything and then expect your skin not to freak out about it. So you do eliminate the pinpointability, if you will, so we can target what was the product that your skin didn't agree with. It's just bad. So we've shocked a lot of new patients over the years by saying, no, what are you running out of? What can we replace right now? What resonates with you the most? What are you not happy with your home skincare? And we'll lead you down the road where you've been with us for a couple of months, and as your home products are needing to be replaced, then we'll replace them one by one. Mm-hmm. So SomaCell's the same way, because we're not trying to eliminate everything else you've done. We're not trying to change your face. We're just trying to roll back the years in an extremely healthy manner where we repair and regenerate. We do not use heat to damage and destroy.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it keeps working. So that's another thing that I thought was bullshit initially, because I'm like, okay, so you're telling me this is painless when everything that I tried, like I mentioned, is painful. So this is painless and it keeps on working for 6 months after and tightening. I'm like, But then once I did it and the series of 6 and started, waiting a month before my follow-up, I'm like doing interviews all the time. I'm on Zoom all the time. And I started looking back at videos that I did before I started SomaCell and ones that I recorded this week, for example. I'm like, wow, I see the difference. First of all, my lower face looks thinner. I see the contour. My jawline and chin look tighter and more prominent. My face looks like they were less bulky from the filler. It looks like I had it dissolved when I really didn't. I was like, damn. I'm like, Kim was not bullshitting me. I'm like, this is the real deal.
Well, we always put our money where our mouth is. It's no joke to us. I take it very seriously. Everyone at SomaCell, everyone in IT Intelligent Treatment, we take our relationships with you seriously because we are in a relationship with you. I don't know if that sounds corny or not, but when you come to us with your wishes and your wants and the things that upset you about your skin or your face or your body or both, we take that very seriously, and we walk this road with you to discover things that maybe we don't even provide, to refer you to places that are excellent at some of those filler treatments and I don't mean filler like chemical filler, but some of those treatments that we don't do will help you to, if they're the proper ones, to get them from the most reputable offices and then have you back to continue your journey. And we stick with you for life. We love to see you once a month, and we're always going to steer clear of what's going to harm you.
Yes.
We're going to keep you based in reality. So when you're like, I want it, we're like, it's like Christmas. Okay, you can get these 5 or these 3, but you can't have those 12.
Yeah.
And we're going to explain why, right? And we're going to work together to cut the list down to what really resonates the most with what you want and what you need at the same time. And the beauty of it is to not sound like a commercial, but SomaCell does sit right in the middle of that road where filler and Botox, neurotoxin, surgery, cryofacial, hydrofacial,
Peels,
microneedling, peels. Like, you can blend all of these things with SomaCell. And I think for all of us in a busy world, that's the most important thing, because as you said, you see the results. You're seeing now that a little bit of time has gone by. The results do evolve and keep getting better. But you just love the sense that, would love be the right word?
Yeah.
Will love, because you love the fact that you can just fit this into your life and just go right back to your life.
Yeah, and there's like other benefits that I didn't even think of initially. So lymphatic drainage, those 2 words get passed around a lot, and I always think it's a crock of bullshit too. But there is
It's a real
heavy
thing.
lymphatic drainage that comes with this treatment, and I noticed it. So I've been doing SomaCell on my face, my neck, and décolleté area, and what I noticed is I felt like my chest looks tighter. And I've not been at the gym because I have too much stuff going on between like the podcast on iHeart, between Out in Jersey Magazine, the Will of Listen podcast, and the work I do for CNBC. I have not been working out at all. So I'm like, how did my chest get tighter? And I was talking to Monica, the esthetician, and she was telling me that's the lymphatic drainage portion taking effect.
Yes, exactly. So
So
Monica,
the tightening does travel, literally.
Right, exactly. So Monica and Melanie, all of our staff at IT Intelligent Treatment and SomaCell can help everyone understand that lymphatic drainage is a real thing. It's manual lymphatic drainage is extremely popular post-surgery to help with recovery, to literally help to stimulate your lymph into removing toxins from your system. So there are different ways you can do that with machine assistance. And as you know, we never do like cupping with dragging, because that could just stretch and destroy elastin. It could also damage the delicate vessels in your face. So our method keeps you looking gorgeous without giving you extra downtime, because like you said, we're trying not to blow smoke and give you bullshit, right? It's like, it literally is no downtime, like literally. And you're like, yeah, right. And I'm like, no, really? And you're like, yeah, mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, promise, I swear. Like, I'll challenge you. I'll throw down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you can go right to hair and makeup afterwards and jump right on TV or your own pod or your own Instagram, whatever it is. I will throw down that gauntlet for you to pick up. You can do it. You can go straight from the treatment bed to the makeup chair and right onto screen afterwards. No worries.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true. Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give, let's just say, the younger patients? So everybody, I think, when they hear longevity, they hear anti-aging, they're like, yeah, great. So that's like,
They think they're
40
buzzwords.
Right, but they also think like 40s and up, right? But now we're in this new generation
I think they
of
did
prevention.
up until recently.
Yes,
Yeah.
now we're in a new generation of prevention. So, we know SomaCell works for your older patients. And what can you tell them about the younger patients? What kind of advice would you give?
Well, using my story as an example, it definitely works. It works more. Well, it worked more than I initially anticipated. So now I'm a SomaCell lifer, and I'll be doing this on the regular. But I will say, like, to younger patients and other patients that are like in 20s, 30s, that this works. So I would opt to try this before you do anything like radio frequency or that skin damaging, like certain lasers and certain fillers. Honestly, I would try this, couple it with Botox or whatever neurotoxin you prefer, and I think you'll probably like that than if you were to go like the filler and radio frequency route.
Yeah, that's great advice, because there is a time and a place for every device treatment, depending on your ethnicity, depending on your skin
Yeah.
condition, depending on your connective tissue conditioning, depending on what your goal is. But we are now in an era where the future is now. And I know that's like a corny way to say it because it's been beaten to death. However, it is true. The future is now. And SomaCell is testament to that because this is the first time for non-surgical facelifting. We have something that is completely non-dermal wounding. It's completely not heat. So it's legitimately clinically proven, worldwide, by the way, clinically proven to repair and regenerate. Again, we're not damaging. It's repair and regeneration. So your younger patients, for prevention, this is perfect for them. And then for everybody else that does need an extra, reversal in that repair area, then this is perfect for them. So, it's been great to have you here and sharing all your insight and sharing your story. So I'm so happy that your face looks so gorgeous after, you were so afraid of what happened with your pillow face.
Yeah, it was starting to look like that. And I really didn't do that much. And I remember, I'll never forget, I was doing an interview with the great astrologer Susan Miller, shout out to her. And this was in the fall. And I was like, my face, I was looking at back, I was comparing it to ones that I recorded earlier in the year. And I was like, it looks like, what? I went through surgery to get the puffiness out. And now it looks like it's coming back.
You must have been so upset when you were noticing that.
Yeah. I was freaking out. But SomaCell has really corrected that. And that's why I would tell especially other young patients, like you mentioned, in your 20s or 30s, that do this before you try plumping your face up or melting your face.
Right, or artificial plumping. I mean, it is getting a bad rap for a reason.
Yeah.
Even the best injectors, whether they're doctors or nurses all around the world, will tell you in your consultation, no matter how great of an injector, bruising might occur. No matter how great of an injector, migration might occur. There are other side effects that might occur, and they'll walk you through that list, not just tell you, oh, this is gonna be great, we're gonna plump you up, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna put all these units in, we're gonna balance it, you're gonna be insane, it's gonna look amazing, right? That's not what you wanna hear. You wanna hear how it can make you look great and how it can't, and the things that can go wrong, because that's a reality. And unfortunately, with filler, especially lately, because there's so many injectors for every square mile.
Yeah.
Every square mile across this country, there's it seems like 1 million injectors. So when you know that even the best injector can have complications and asymmetry and other issues with lumpy bumpiness or whatever it is, migration, etc.
Yeah, asymmetry, that's really common.
Right, exactly. So when you know that can happen to the best injector, you need to pause. You can't be bargain hunting, looking for some kind of a coupon for an injection. Yeah. And as you said, and
you can be on Groupon for this stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's really scary, legitimately scary when I see what has been listed on some of these coupon sites. But that's not the route you want to go. You definitely should start at step 1, repair and regeneration, and then if necessary, then you build and you incorporate other things into your program and you switch it up, and it keeps your skin happy, keeps your connective tissue happy, your body's happy, and you're insanely happy because when you look in the mirror, you know you look great. And that look great, feel great thing became a moniker for a reason, right? Because it's true.
Yeah,
so when 100%. So when you're not damaging, you can be proud of how you look, and you're still going to look like you.
Yeah, and I think this pairs well with things like Botox, for example, or any neurotoxin, because you're tightening the face, you're contouring it, and then the only remaining thing you may have to worry about is some wrinkles. Then you just top it off with neurotoxin, and bam.
Right. Well, especially if you have...
Which I'm also doing here, by the way.
If you do have pre-existing wrinkles and fine lines on your forehead, in particular, like the section of 3, which is glabella, right? That's your 11s, your forehead wrinkles, and then your crow's feet area. So that's 3 sections, 1, 2, and then 3. If there's any kind of definition to the damage of that wrinkle, you are not with radiofrequency, laser, not with SomaCell. Are you going to be able to take a deep wrinkle and then magically erase it? That's not going to happen. It's a process that takes many months to potentially years of doing treatment after treatment after treatment, chasing the youth and trying to undo those wrinkles. So when on your forehead, crow's feet, and glabella in particular, when you have deeper wrinkles there, neurotoxin is the easiest way to be able to alleviate that situation. Because what happens is, as you know, your neurotoxin is going to smooth out that area, and yes, it's temporary. However, a wrinkle is an indentation into your skin.
That's just going to keep getting deeper.
Right. So what you want to do is we want to bring that up as even to the surface as possible again, and then SomaCell is working deeper connective tissue layers and radiating up through the skin, but now the skin is almost smooth to begin with from the neurotoxin. So all of that compromised tissue that was in the deep the bottom of that V is now at the surface, and we can attack that evenly. So this is how they work beautifully in a pair, because we're repairing and regenerating while we're not continually moving those areas. And we're not saying don't freeze your face. You don't have to have your eyebrows up in your hairline. You don't have to be like this, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to look crazy, but just smooth it out and help to alleviate a little bit of that movement with the neurotoxin, and then let SomaCell hit it hard and do its magic, and everything is going to help to regenerate much faster.
And if SomaCell is tightening and contouring anyway, if you keep up with it, you're going to need less neurotoxin anyway.
Exactly. And it also, there's a big complaint nowadays that neurotoxins are wearing off so fast.
Yeah.
And people have been complaining about all of the different neurotoxin brands, and especially tossing around the Botox name, that what's going on? My Botox isn't working.
Well, I'm one.
You
I can
know?
tell you a story straight up. So the first 2 times I ever got Botox, they were by really successful plastic surgeons. They weren't by some esthetician or a nurse practitioner. It was done by the doctor itself. So the doctor who did my nose, he injected me with Botox. Barely any of it took. We waited like 3 weeks to a month later, did the same thing, none of it took. Same thing with the doctor who did my buccal fat removal. He injected me with Botox, none of it took. We waited 3 to 4 weeks. Again, he injected more, none of it took. And I have come to find that there's 5 neurotoxins, and of those 5, 3 of them do not work for me at all. Botox, Dysport, and Jeuveau. So I'm stuck with either Daxxify or Xeomin. So
which is shocking, because a lot of people will say that Xeomin wears off extremely quickly for them. So, to each his own, but that's a real thing. So your body is rejecting the particular neurotoxin from certain brand names.
3 of the 5.
Right, but also because of post-pandemic boosting to our immune systems. The stronger your immune system, the more efficient your immune system is working, the faster you will flush out things like neurotoxin. So again, the beautiful marriage between SomaCell and your neurotoxin is that by boosting that regenerative and repairing nature of your connective tissue in your skin, you're actually helping to extend the longevity of your neurotoxin. It's actually going to last longer, so you need less injections to look smoother, and you're going to get all the lift on the rest of your face. And it's like I said, it's a perfect marriage.
It is. It's perfect.